Do we ever hear the saying alien abduction? I don't know if I come out with that pretty right. The aliens must come down, capture the whole human, zip them up into space somewhere. No, I don't. I think there are two types of abduction. Number one, we're naturally abducted anyway. Information being sent, we condense it into the physical world and then we send it back into the quantum. When we've added extra bits of thought quantum into the physical. So like, you envision to build something, yes? And it's in your mind how you have an idea of how you're going to build that, or craft it, or sculpt it. So the first initial thought I had was, well, let's build a pyramid, shall we? And it was all smooth and all the rest of it, okay? And that's one form of something comes to you. And then when you add in a little bit more detail and a nice capstone, beautiful capstone, by the way. I can't remember the company, but credit to them, I'll find it. And when you add all of that in, that's an extra part that you've added to it that wasn't in the mind. Then you put a nice little light inside it as well. And again, you're compacting this information, and then, excuse me, you then take this information, and I now see this, and I shut my eyes and I can now vision it. And that is being sent. So you've taken a multiple amounts of quantum, condensed them, and then you send them back into the quantum. That's one type of abduction. We're all naturally abducted anyway. And there's another type of abduction, which would be more along the lines of alien and stuff like that. Now, that's if you believe in that sort of thing or not. Up to you, really. So, anyway, the second type of abductee, or to be abducted, is not physical, it's mentally abducted. Now, how do I explain that in another way? They don't need to come down and abduct you, take you away somewhere and fly you. No. They could just hover over in a spaceship and get your mind. Get into your mind. That's abduction. And then start reading into what you do. And this can happen anytime. This doesn't need to happen at night. This can happen during the day. This can happen whilst you're sitting there watching TV. This can happen whilst you're playing on a computer game. This can happen whilst I'm making this video right now. And all of this info, they're tapping into it and whatnot. That's if you believe such things. But there would be multiple ways that it wouldn't just be one species that would be responsible for doing this. If you had the capability to, and the technology too, and let's say that you then flip the script. This is why I love doing this bit. This bit's my fun bit. That rather than looking at what can be done to oneself from above or wherever it may happen, and because we're on this spectrum, we can't see everything, nor can cameras, nor can technology. Not yet. Because it's such a vast amount of perspectives. No, frequencies in the ear. Ooh, different types of frequencies. Well, I can't hear that noise, but a dog can hear it. I might not be able to hear that, but a cat might be able to hear it. And therefore, we miss the frequency. A microphone picks up most of it, but not all of it. So within this bandwidth of frequency, we sit in a narrow margin of it. What about sight? It's in a very narrow margin. And therefore, the need to see basis or the need to hear basis. There is another, which I like, not many people give it much thought these days, but there is a feeling, vibrations, where you feel. And you can get some level of hearing with this feeling. It's weird, isn't it? You can also get some thoughts with this feeling, because you feel that something is not right. And therefore the mind then gives you a thought as to what that feeling might be. Therefore you are seeing and you are hearing based upon what you feel. The mind fills in the blanks. Humans fill in the blanks. We're very good at doing that. So when you are talking to someone, you feel it. You feel whether there's something not quite right or there's something on that person's mind, this, that and the other. Very amazing, very amazing. But we do that. That would have been from our, reptile days of feeling hot and cold spots. You feel hot, you feel cold. Well, if you feel hot, I move out of the way. You're not hearing whether you're hot. You're not seeing it, you're feeling it. So you feel hot. Okay, I'm going to move into a cooler area. Ah, that's good. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. Okay, now I'm too cold. Okay, better go do some more basking in the sun again. Ah, that's good. That's good. That's good. Okay, now I'm a bit too hot. Now I'm going to cool down. You know, when we watch reptiles, there was one I saw on a documentary. Don't remember what it was called now, but it was jumping around the tree to get away from the African sun, I think it was. And it was moving around the tree, but sometimes it would stay into the light and get warm, and then it would jump out of the way. And then sometimes when it was in the shade of jumping around in the shade, it would then stop and jump into the light and get warm, and then it would move away from that. You know, if we've evolved from that type, that's called survival, and therefore feeling is very real there. It's a feel. I think twins are more on this receptor of feeling, and other children too, who are non-binary, based upon mum talking to belly and dad talking to belly. Vibration. Ooh. May not develop in the eyes just yet, and may not develop with the ears just yet, and they're not all that well developed, but the feeling, I think it's there. The feeling is there, developed. And this whole thing all comes together with this massive sight comes in next. And then because sight and hearing becomes so much more predominant, it tends to shut down the feel receptor a little bit. Actually, a fair old amount. So feeling is now not as predominant now because it's dropped off. It's not as needed now with thermostats, different things like that. And sometimes you can just ignore this because it's so very subtle. It's there, but it's very quiet, like a whisper. Where your eyes are kind of a bit more like this. Look at that. What's that? What's this? What's that? What's that? Ooh, 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 like a cat seeing a light for the first time, you know, or a dog hearing a whistle. Ooh, 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 what the hell is that? You know? Oh, you're going to listen to all of this. So, you know, and I think that we can heighten our feelings and we can also shut them down. And I think this has proved this with certain species that can do certain things, and other people are like, I just cannot kill that animal to eat it. I'd rather eat lettuce. And some people are like, no, I can kill this animal and I will eat it. Do you get what I mean? That's shutting down a part of your feeling, what you feel, the environment. Fuck it. It's shutting down that feeling of you are there with the environment and a part of it, shutting it down. So with this being on that bandwidth that we're on, if there was extraterrestrials, just saying if, and they were inside this ratio that we couldn't see, but had a camera or tool like the camera to be able to see, such as infrared, and they could see you, and they can see you because they built this tool that was able to see you. And then they learned very fast that you couldn't see them based on this receptor. So if we went to another planet, this is the bit that I like, because I like flipping it. And we were a long way from them, but they were blind and they didn't have any ears. But they used this heightened version of themselves, which would be feeling. They would feel that you were there. And maybe they would build a picture, much bit like a beluga. Sonar, being able to see in a different way of seeing. Still seeing nonetheless, but it depends which way you go. Human species adapted with eyes and ears, and we sort of traversed this way. But others might have shut that one down, didn't need it. Maybe it was too bright, damaging these senses. Therefore they become not needed. And that shut down instead of the feelings, and the feelings heightened in their species. And therefore could be blind as a bat, literally, and use a very different way of navigating, seeing, being, existing. And if we don't know that that is happening, let's say, and then another species comes here that is within this ratio, that could blend into that ratio, maybe make some way of being invisible. Who knows? They'd be very good with this technology, especially if they've traversed a long way. An if, and a big if, and a maybe, and a but, and more buts, and more maybes, and more ifs. And maybe get a really good technology that you couldn't see them, not with your senses, but you could feel them. That would be the thing that gives them a dead away, wouldn't it? Gives them away completely. You can feel it, sense it. There's something here. But you couldn't see it. Your cameras couldn't pick it up because the tools were not enhanced enough. We come over to another planet, and we know that they can't see us. Would we try communicating, or would we try to not connect, but influence them via using their feeling against them? Such as, well, we know they can't see us, so we could fly around, but they couldn't hear us, so you could make as much noise as you wanted. They could feel you. Would you then, A, run the risk of finding out whether they're hostile or inhostile, or really angry towards you as soon as you went down and ripped your flesh apart? Not good, not good. Or would you go down, but start interacting with their feeling, being able to slowly but surely let them know of your presence? And as you let them know of your presence, they then begin to, perhaps you begin to understand that they can see in a different way that was not like seeing, but feeling. And then you could figure out a way to communicate with them by using this feeling, to let them know of your presence, that you didn't mean any harm, that you didn't mean any blah, 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 and all the rest of it, that you weren't come to take them or cage them or anything, you just wanted to get to know them. And you would slowly but surely start to get into their awareness field. And then they become more and more aware of you, slowly but surely, until you could just walk the planet and they wouldn't find you as a threat. You see, multiple ways to think. Most people think abduction is big spaceship, comes down, puts on some light, sucks you up, and then they take you and then start prodding shit up your ass. Woo! Let's hope they don't do that sort of stuff. Sorry, pardon me. And then they wipe your mind clean afterwards. Well, that would defeat the whole object of abducting somebody in the first place if you're going to bring them back. I mean, it's like, oh, look, there's a mouse out there. Let's take this mouse, right? I'm going to do some experiments with you. Loads of experiments. Okay, go back out into the wild. Interesting. Don't buy it. Not into it. Not feeling it. It doesn't even resonate with me, to be honest. That whole, we're going to get abducted this way. No, it would get into your mind first. Figure out how you operate, why you operate, how you do the things you do. What are you going to teach me about your own species if I find out within your mind to do it this way? What information can you tell me about all of your capabilities and technologies? And no one on the planet would be safe from this, depending on how many numbers they had. And if their numbers outnumbered you, there could be 15 of these per one person dotted across this whole entire planet, including nature. They're probably abduct that as well. And it'd be so nice that they'd come back and dig another hole and plant it back into the ground again. Come on, no. You'd take the plant, you would take the animal and you'd keep it. I'm sure you would. What would you do? Go to another planet somewhere else? Let's just try this out for size, right? We go there and we take loads of specimens, nice and fresh specimens from the planet. We'd look at them, study them, write about it, and then go all the way back and deliver back these specimens. What would have been the point of even gaining any of these specimens in the first place if you are going to return them? No, I just cannot, I can't piece that bit together. That bit is where I get to a loss. I just wouldn't, no. If you wanted to know then if you were a past and found some intelligent species, let's say, and they got all of this self-defense equipment everywhere, right? To the point where, you know, that might be you getting blown up or something like that. What would you do? Go there and, hi, hello everyone, we're fucking aliens, you know, we'll just come and see how you do it. Nah, that's too risky. No. And the best way to learn about a species, would it not be this way? To have them teach you all of the things that they know. without them even knowing it. That would be the best thing ever, wouldn't it? That is the easiest way. Because, you know, you could look at this stuff and think, I've never seen any equipment like this before in my life. I've never seen it. What the hell is all of this shit? You better not touch it, Frank. He already did. Now he's anaphylactic in an extraterrestrial sort of sense. Anyway, would you do it that way? Or if you saw some intelligent species on another planet? Or would you go there and then have them teach you about their capabilities and be from a distance, unseen, unheard of, undetectable, safety, and then they would start showing you, in essence, how they're working this equipment, how they are doing this equipment, how they build it, what it does, how this runs and operates. And then you would note it, and note it, and note it, and then you would find an ingenious way to turn it all off at your presence. I mean, wouldn't this be the most sensible way? And if you've traversed the whole entire solar system, ladies and gentlemen, you've defeated this travel and everything else, and you would do the most suicidalist, ET-ist thing that I could even think of by rocking up onto another hostile but not so hostile. You're watching from a distance and you're like, damn man, they blow each other up.